Welcome back to the BSL studio for another day of HGC Korea. My name is Wolf. With me is GLuck, and we are going to get into some pretty exciting matches coming up soon. And we'll see if two Titans, KSV Black, and of course Tempest before them, can be even damaged by their lesser opponents tonight.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen tonight, and I also can see how well Tempest prepared after their very first initial match because they have not been playing for such a long time. They have back-to-back series tonight and tomorrow night, so it's going to be lots of stress for them. But tonight's going to be a lot less stressful than for Tempest, of course, going first match. And I do believe also Tempest and also Black, they're against a less strong opponent for sure.
Yeah. We'll see.
We are actually expecting 2-3-0s, unless some crazy upset happens.
It's HGC Korea, just as the way of things is, like most of our series end up being 3-0s because it feels like oftentimes there are tiers in Korea for the best of the best. You have very few upsets in the regular season, which is actually what happened last year mostly. But we already had one upset this season. Tempest was able to defeat KSV Black, not only that, but with a 3-0. So we'll see if the trends continue or not. But today we have, in terms of that tier list, we were talking about several gaps between the teams. So could learn a lot tonight, though, about drafting. And I think that is what you and I have been focusing on a lot this week because Blaze is obviously available. We're finding out the evolution of Uther bans and things like that at the moment.
I think tonight will be a great day to test Blaze out for all the teams, all 4 teams. Maybe we'll see a few more Blaze. I believe we only have had one Blaze last night from Korea, and Blaze was okay. Not too crazy about initiating or all that, but maybe we'll see some different team comps happening from KSV Black and Tempest. I wonder what they have in hold for us tonight. But it's going to be, I think, GLuck is one of the stronger teams coming into HGC Korea. So maybe they're having something crazy prepared for us against Tempest. Maybe they want to upset us, bring an upset, maybe take off even one set off of Tempest.
Yeah, I think that there are chances for that kind of play to occur. I just hope that GLuck does not prepare for Tempest based on what we saw from Tempest in their previous match against KSV Black last week, because that is not the same kind of play I think we're going to see from Tempest tonight. That type of strategy was really cool, really successful against KSV Black, but not really the kind of thing that is usable in a situation like this one where your opponent's already seen it, the world has seen it, and when you start drafting like that, GLuck's going to be like, nah, I ban Jaina, or like, oh, this is not going to work, you ban the Tyrael, and then it just doesn't actually occur. So KSV Black, I think, didn't realize what was going to happen in that series. Tempest, against their toughest opponent of this round robin, used their cheese strats to great success. We do talk about this, our off-seal channel, that's actually just the Korean channel, and the multi-screen channel is on hgc.playxp.com. I think the delay is fixed today, so if you go and change the language to English, you can watch the players individually while listening to our cast, because I know it was a little bit delayed and bugged, so we're working on getting that fixed for you guys. I think today it should be working fine, so if you want to go check out the players' screens, you can go do it right now. Right now is nothing to watch. I don't even know if it's live right now. You might just see like them in the lobby. But yeah, we'll be obviously broadcasting all the players' first-person views on that channel. And do tell people about that. I know there was some discussion about it on Reddit.
And a lot of people actually loving it so much. And POV, it's first time in Heroes of the Storm to have all the players' screen right there. You can basically, it's like having so many channels on one screen. If you just click on it, you can have that as a, have that as a big screen in the middle, and you can also listen to us at the same time. Overview, nothing has changed, and standings, Ballistics actually standing on top 4 now because they played 3 games or 3 sets of series already.
That's right, and Tempest has only played 1. They'll play their second today. We're not really that deep into the round robin just yet, but obviously we'll see what GLuck can do tonight in situations like this for some of the bottom teams. Obviously, we're still early. Like GLuck is number 6 at the moment, but they could make it to top 3 by the end. Who knows? How few games you drop, like how many. If you can take a single map against Tempest, against Black, against Ballistics, that's valuable. Those points are more valuable than points you could take against Feliz, Ace, Blossom, right? So taking even a single map today would actually really help their chances of doing well going forward. So Feliz and Black will be our second match of the night. We talked about the first one quite a bit. The second one will be Again, one of those matches that could be one-sided. Obviously, we saw GLuck and Feliz face off on day one. It was actually our first matchup, and it was a pretty close one. So I'm excited to see if GLuck can, because I think they were, I mean, obviously they won the series, but I think they were the stronger of the two teams, can actually make a dent in Tempest tonight.
Yeah, we'll see a lot about it. I'm sure everyone already watched the spotlight of Mayeb last night. That was pretty cool. When she joins the Nexus, I think it's going to destroy the draft system, and also whichever map she goes in, I think her kit is really, really cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump into these games pretty soon, but I think the two things to look out for today is, can GLuck actually do well? Like, can they actually pull this off? Because obviously they showed us some promise before. Can they take a game, right? Because it's not realistic to expect that they'll defeat Tempest in a best of series. But also the other question is, with KSP Black, we've seen 2 series of them now. The first series they were defeated by Tempest. Second series they bounced back, were able to easily defeat their opponents. But where do they stand now? You know, we know how they've been drafting, but have they been evolving? Have they gone back to form? Because seemed a little bit rusty, to be honest, in the first 2 series. But let's see what they do today and watch the evolution of KSV through this tournament.
Yeah, because they're sitting in the middle right now, and they should be up on the top 3 at least. I expect them to be at the top 2 at least, I think. Depending on how Ballistics and Tempest do. Those big matches are coming up, I think, next Sunday and then the following Sunday as well. All the Sunday matches, I think there are some crazy matchups like that, like Ballistics versus Tempest.
Yeah, there's a lot of really
Ballistics
good ones.
versus KSP Black. I think those are all Sundays usually. So make sure you guys tune in Sundays, and remember, everything's available in our official HGC website.
Yeah.
So check the schedule if you sure do not want to miss those matches. And tomorrow we also have Tempest versus Miracle, I believe.
Tomorrow, let me check that just for you right now. I was looking at all the schedules. Tomorrow is going to be Miracle versus Tempest.
Yes.
So that should be a good one. So here is Team Tempest. Obviously, we talked about this team in 2016, global champions. I spoke with Hyde this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon, and he was very confident that this team was going to find great success today, and very confident that they were going to crush their matches, essentially. And, you know, everyone smiles on faces here with this roster that's, you know, the core of it, Hyde, Lockdown. They have been together for a long time. They are brothers. Sign, a new member of the roster, obviously has really filled in. Dami was absent for a while, rejoined his teammates. So this may be Tempest's best roster ever in terms of synergy between players. And, you know, we'll see how good really evolves throughout the season, because I'm curious to see how he's going to end up being at the end of the season. Because, like, we talk about players kind of changing roles, and Good obviously and Dami both played the same roles. They're both solo laners in both the DPS flex, the DPS melee flexes, and the role overlapping is something that Dami had with Honkono as well in the past. That's on MVP Miracle. So we'll see how that really settles by the end of the season. Now here's GLuck. Saw this team performed very well against Feliz, but they have a new caliber of opponent tonight, you would say, with Tempest.
And they were having some trouble making rotations, not really going around making the safe path, going up and down, and oftentimes Tesseron was the one with Arthas. We saw that happening over and over, getting caught because he wasn't going around. He was trying to take the shortcut and got caught so many times, and that really changed their game from the beginning. And oftentimes that's what happens. They always get caught, not really cautious of where the enemy team is hiding at. So I think if they improved a little bit more on that individually, or even shot call, sometimes their shot call was late, someone's missing from the lane, you should be careful, that was not coming out.
Just kind of map awareness stuff, you know, is very important, and I think it's a good observation you've made. I feel like Sauron's greed in lane as well has been something that we could definitely pick on a little bit. So our first map will be Sky Temple. This is the map pick of Tempest, and we're going to have Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire ban, actually a smart ban for GLuck against this team that's so well versed on it. So our first map, Sky Temple, but Volskaya is oddly enough available.
And we still did not have a Volskaya game in Korea yet.
Yeah.
To be played.
Don't know if we ever will.
I'm sure at least one of the team is thinking about a crazy strategy, you know, because no one else is choosing it and always banning. Well, Skya, if the team if I have to guess, I'm guessing Blossom or maybe even Tempest now should be thinking about it against against Ballistics or PSV Black. I think it's going to be a good match, but game 1 we're going into Sky Temple.
All right, so Sky Temple it is. Map choice of Tempest. This means that it will be GLuck's the first ban. Abathur will be removed, followed by Hanzo. Now, Greymane has, again, always occupied this spot when the Shimada brothers both are banned. GLuck will make the choice to grab Genji. And for the first time ever, I think, this season so far, Uther is not locked in afterwards. That means Tempest has boldly insta-locked these heroes and have left Uther available for Genji here. Not only does it empower the Dragon Blade, but Uther has a perfect win rate against Genji at the moment in Korea. It just feels like Tempest has already thought of a different response here because they're so willing to give the Uther over, and I think GLuck is thinking, well, that's not what I expected. I thought maybe they had a plan against the Uther, that's why they banned the Abathur. And now, you know, they're pausing here saying, like, is this a trap? Like, what is this, you know?
This seems way too obvious that they want us to pick Uther. They have something crazy here. What do they have? Well, in the waiting room, they were talking about Furion a little bit, even Lucio. They even though it's 0 and 10 in Korea, 0% win rate, guys. Only in Korea, though. It's not too bad back in NA and EU. So maybe they're just thinking of a Lucio. If it's banned, I think going towards Malfurion or Stukov is even okay. But Malfurion is a hero that Hyde does not like to play at all.
Yeah.
We'll see how they go with this. Of course, if Sign says pick Malfurion, Hyde just has to say, okay, I'll just do it. But well, it's not his preferred hero, so I don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, I don't think we're going to see Malfurion. Obviously, he can lock Genji down if the roots are placed correctly, but Uther's Cleanse can just easily allow Genji to escape. Tempest is going to dominate the solo matchup. They have Sonya already, they want to ban away the Dahaka, and with the draft of GLuck right now, it's not reasonable to pick up materials, so they could actually... I feel like Tempest can pick a Tyrael if Malthael is picked for GLuck, is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's no way, unless GLuck bans Tyrael right now, that they can realistically run the Malthael. So, if they ban the Tyrael, it'll make it pretty obvious to us, like, that is their plan. Because Tyrael's Sanctification just simply ruins Malthael in terms of team fights. I know we talk about that. We talk about Imperial bans for Malthael all the time, but we never really explain it. But obviously, Tyrael's Sanctification counters Tormented Souls, and when you're talking about Malthael, he dominates the lane, but he can also be a bully in team fights when given Divine Shield from Uther. So Tyrael just mitigates that damage with the Sanctification while also empowering Greymane and Sonya. So I think the Tyrael ban is actually pretty reasonable here, given the scenario that we're in right now.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money there, because there's also Luke, who's on fire tonight.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like,
yeah, it's a better one compared to the support. There, you can ban Lucio or you can ban Rehgar, Stukov. You can't really guess which one's going to be the right one. So going around towards the tank, I think you just had the idea there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, this isn't rocket science, right? If you think about it and look at the comps for a minute, you realize, like, wow, Tyrael's so good with Sonya and Greymane, and if we get Malthael, we can dominate the lane, but Malthael's not strong if they have the Tyrael. It's going to be Falstad coming in here, so Tempest has been the only team to really prioritize Falstad in Korea.
Not even as a 5th pick, they're willing to bring Falstad out before their last one. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, kind of a niche pick.
I think they're trying to really make their color here as bringing Falstad all the time. I mean, trying to force on a cocoon. When there's a cocoon, they can also disengage perfectly.
Yeah. I'm seeing flashbacks though, GClef. Like, do you remember the heroes when Tempest won the 2016 Global Championship in Sweden? There were 3 heroes they prioritized in almost every game.
The middle 3 right there.
Sonya, Rehgar, and Falstad, the Holy Trinity, we called them back in that time. And this is not the first time this season we've seen them run these 3 heroes again back to their comfort picks. Lockdown on the Falstad, Hyde on the Rehgar, Dami on Sonya. That was the way it was. That was how they won their title. Dami, of course, occasionally flexing to Greymane, which he could do in this comp as well. We are literally, if you added Tyrael to this, we are looking at the game-winning comp from the last game, Game 5 versus MP Black. Okay, so this style is a style that suits Tempest so well. and it doesn't feel cheesy because this is a comp they've run so many times. Now, surprising with the material ban, they actually go with Leoric over the Malthael. Probably because they know that Falstad can lane swap up there, and Tyrael and Malthael will not be able to do what they wanted him to do potentially if they were going to draft him. So just looking for a tankier pick here.
And we also saw Leoric working as a way of making a wall so that Greymane and Sonya both cannot come in at the same time. And that worked okay yesterday. Let's see how well GLuck can pull that out with Anubarak. And also Taika's also being used in other regions a lot more now, not just in Korea. First Taika's, I believe, came out yesterday night in Europe.
Yeah.
I like the comp of GLuck actually a lot. They have gank potential, they have team fight, they have utility. They don't have a global, but I think they just have enough.
They have Tychus is so great against this sort of tanky frontline. We have Sonya and the Murden. Even Rhaegar is quite tanky as a support. He's going to be getting into the mix a little bit. So I like that for them. The Tyrael ban was super intelligent, would have been strong for Tempest. But Leoric versus Sonya, I think actually that matchup between Sauron and assumedly Dami might be the really big deciding factor of this early game. A shot of Dami himself. We'll see if he'll be playing his signature Greymane or the Sonya. In crazier times, we had seen Lockdown flex to Sonya back in 2016, but I don't think that is going to be the case in this series. We've got a lot of fans here tonight for this matchup. Some Tempest fans bringing signs here, as you can see. But I feel like this this match, I think Sauron, he has to kill it. He has to do well. He has to rotate quickly. His Leoric has to be on point. That will determine the macro of this because both teams have fantastic team fighting comps. All right, let's find out who he is playing. It's actually going to be good on Sonya here, as you can see. And Dami will be playing the Greymane, so you might even see Dami build. Nope, not going to be Dami build. Rip, he locked in the cocktail.
Yep, cocktail is the best way now, and it's, I think it's all settled now. Cocktail is the best one, and it's going to go with that. No more Dami, old way of style. No getting those stats, but good actually is a good. He used to be solo lane a lot, even when he was back in Zeratul sometimes, just roaming around. And I think they just have enough with Moradin now instead of Tyrael. They can even have more gank potential. So look at them going aggressive here as the double wolf just runs in.
This works because they have Falstad. They controlled the watchtower for long enough to force GLuck to kind of respond to the lack of vision. And then they were able to make that damage happen. Lockdown trades, obviously, his cooldown for the healing well for this, but it's definitely, I think, worth it, given that he is a highly mobile hero and is not going to need that anytime soon. So, yeah, we talked about Good, and I mean, Good and Reset together. You were talking about Zeratul. They like actually kind of revolutionized how Zeratul was played in Korea by making him a solo laner and not a ganker. He would just literally sit in the top lane, but would roam around only when it was appropriate and trick his opponents by making them confused as to where he was and controlling vision. It's going to be a different story here with the Sonya, but can use the Sonya actually to kind of frustrate Leoric in lane. And it's a really skilled matchup actually, Sonya versus Leoric. It's like one of those matchups that if you're watching first-person view, like go watch it and see like what both players are trying to do. It's really amazing to watch.
They're having a 4v4 as Sonya is coming down first. Let's see you guys take this camp as Genji is just going in and out a little bit, trying to take.
This is Sonya's playground, man. Look at that. Spear connects. Whirlwind's going to give so much healing here. GLuck is staying, and I'm not sure why. DPS coming through from Overlord, but Lockdown still has his shield available. This is going to be a full team wipe. Not a single kill on the side. He knew like he was going to be fine. He knows the numbers. He knows the DPS. Literally a full team wipe, an ace, 5 kills for Tempest for an unrealistic invade. And to be frank with you, GClef, on this map, I cannot believe they committed to try to turn that. They have possibly lost the game now. And that very rarely happens in Heroes where you could say a game is likely over at 2 minutes.
Yes.
But look at the map. Look at all the control of the map they have, all the lanes. They're pushing this bottom tower before anything has even really occurred, forcing everyone to be down. So they just have total control of the map. They have a full level lead. And GLuck could be lucky this didn't happen in about 2 minutes' time because they could boss off this at 4:30 if that full wipe had happened.
I think you're right over there. And they did get a lot of kills, 5 kills, and maybe even more with Leoric once more. May go, not even close. 50% HP. But that was overcommitment, and I thought maybe they're trying to bring Leoric first, but Sonya was the one joining way before, even though the wave was not really favoring Sonya at all. He just knew he had to come down. There's going to be invade. So these kind of calls, they were just so much quicker and faster for Tempest all the time. If it happens again,
yeah,
I don't know if GLuck they should be invading like that at all.
So we talked about the potential kind of like solo swaps for Falstad because obviously he's a global. So when this is happening, they can actually commit heavily to have Sonya fighting because they take the top temple while pushing the lane with their 4-man, and they soak bottom. And because Leoric simply cannot fly across the map like Falstad gets so much extra soak, and they're willing to trade this temple to get an advantage. GLuck is trying to invade, but their failed invade of the temples actually cost them a lot of time. You can see that this temple time for them, they've done much less, which means Falstad can actually come up and threaten to get, they can try to double temple off this. Look at, that's how you do it, by the way. Relic, huge mistake by Relic. Lockdown just simply ignores the deflect. You never want to use deflect that early, or you will die in this case.
Worst case scenario, basically, for GLuck. And
Way
also,
too early.
Also, they were trying to contest for the temple on top, so the middle temple is kind of delayed. I'm guessing Sonya will come down right after, so they can get the last 5 shots at least. They want more than that. They want kills. You're getting the first one, and that may just be enough with also Genji dead.
So things have gone from bad to worse. To speak nicely,
I think it went
to use some
to bad
PR
to
speak.
GG, almost.
GG perhaps. Okay. Finally, they get the kill here. The Falstad Relic's able to do it, but he is very likely dead. Cocktail, will it connect? Still on cooldown. So,
there's the caster's saw.
So I get the idea of trying to gank Falstad, but the execution was, it left a lot to be desired there by Relic, and had they gotten the pick on the Falstad, if you ever hear like Zeratul or Genji, sometimes people try to do this, right? But it was funny because Lockdown knew he was coming, waited, just sat there like calm, patiently, never like freaked out or even backed away, just like kept auto-attacking and then stopped auto-attacking during deflect and then used his barrel roll and got the kill. But yeah, had he gotten the pick there, it would have been a really cool move and it made sense, but Lockdown was just like not even concerned slightly. Then they stayed, lost the latter part of that temple. Now they've got 10 against them, and when Gust is available here, it's going to become super easy to control bosses, and they might even look to make a play for boss right now. In fact, yep, already there before I could even say it. So
yep, level 10, they have all they need. They have the Gust to disengage the entire team with GLuck. They can't even, they shouldn't even be.
I mean, they have Milky Way on the Nubarak, but like
will be coming down as Sign just pops that avatar, and there's Falstad joining the team fight now.
Okay, Dami's pretty low. They are going to get the pick onto Milky Way first. They will get this because they have Gust, of course. It's a little bit closer than I thought it would be there. Obviously, the Milky Way, being the big CC tank that he is on the Nubarak, is able to disrupt a lot of that. And that's why nearly Dami went down.
Even those small Gusts, gusting everyone except for Milky Way, like, so they could get a kill. Like, nicely done. They have the individual skills here. It's just getting outplayed by each member of Tempest.
Yeah, I mean, Relic is like, he wants revenge, but it's just, I'm worried for him. It was a fight they should have taken, I think, but not everyone was on the same page. Like, there was a 3v5 fight against Heroics before everyone else arrived there. Heroic's not a word. 4 Siege Giant push with boss at 6 minutes 45. And this is a dead keep.
Directly to the keep, and boss will be going down. So, oh, never mind. It's going to the fort. I forgot there was a fort remaining there.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually like backing away, being safe here. Although I don't know if it's 100% necessary. They know Entomb is up now, but it wasn't there. It was in the top lane actually. So. Better safe than sorry, I suppose, so they actually don't get the keep, but they are going to get this mid-fort with the shots. Falstad flew up, and they know that, so they're going to collapse on this, knowing that Falstad can't come down. But wisely, Tempest just gives this away. They're going to take the camp instead. They can push top heavily, start to damage that keep wall. Like, GLuck is getting wins here and there, but they are tiny wins, and if this were an even game, this retreat to push top would be horrible for Tempest, but given that we're not in an even game, Tempest is just playing as safe as possible to close this game out with like no mistakes, no potential for error. And I mean, you have to respect that. Okay, Overlord down here, formerly known as Sands. They need to mount up and get out. Rotation comes down. Tempest just lets them get the final shots.
Well, let's see. They now have the shield and the Dragon Blade coming out, and I think that can do some damage. But with the still has to be careful. Even that Dragon Blade might not be enough damage with Odin if it does not really hit the single target. Let's see how Ancestral connects for Tempest. I think they can have pretty good defense. Of course, the game is not over. Still very one-sided for Tempest, and they're just not making any rotational mistakes. Seems like we're just watching Sky Temple 101 from Tempest here.
Yeah. Like, this is how you would play this map against any opponent, basically perfectly. Just because they're mechanically more advanced than GLuck is. Like, it's everything looks perfect. It almost looks scripted, but there is no happy ending in this game for GLuck, sadly. Probably already thinking about the draft for game 2. Now, I don't mean to say that there's no point in trying, but try they do. Cleanse used early here. Fort's going down. Really nice Impale, but no follow-up damage. Remember that Lyric's not here. He is rotating down towards the Watchtower now. Whereas, meanwhile, Relic comes over here to clear these Siege Giants to keep the keep alive. I feel like in a game of Heroes of the Storm, as long as all 3 keeps are up for a team, there's always hope. But in this game, you know, GLuck is going to have to show us something we have never seen before in order to get into a position to come back in this game. Now, we're at double temples here again. They need to do more than trade, or they will lose a keep. And trying to use this camp to try to control the bottom temple, not even going to happen. Tempest smells this a mile away.
They also know that they're going for the top cam, and they lost the positioning sign, taking some damage from Tychus. One of the best things to cook in, but Overload also has to be careful his positioning. They're going to lose the camp, but they're going to start the team fight at 13. They're going in Cleanse, but Ancestral connects on Dami.
Okay, this is the synergy between Hyde and Dami here. Great Ancestral. Do you see Relic doing a lot of damage? Divine Shield is already used, however. Sign pops his avatar. He's going to get out in the last second. Saren looks to be the first to fall in this team fight, and now out-sustained is GLuck as Anub'arak is dead. Overlord trying to kite back with his mech. Not going to be enough. Blue Beetle going to be the next to fall, and this might just simply be a 5-man wipe. Protected, by the way, is what Relic says as he gets out. But look at the push bottom. Look at the double temples. And, you know, if you want, go get a soda and then come back in about a minute's time. Look at the core explode.
Toxic wolf.
I am being toxic, but
I think also realistic at the same time.
I mean, realistically, that was a good fight for GLuck. They had a good Entomb, and the setup with Anub'arak's CC was actually really well done. Divine Shield used correctly as well, but we're looking at a talent tier disadvantage. We're looking at at that time, 3-level scaling disadvantage.
Yeah, that too. So damage, in terms of damage, it's so much harder for GLuck to actually get the kill. There was nice Dragon Blade with the shield, but the damage was nowhere close to getting a kill. But let's say they're going in. This
good gust.
Great gust coming up from Lockdown.
Okay, good. Just going to whirlwind himself to be healed here. Cocoon bursted. Hyde can drop down the heals now. There's the kill onto Uther already. And, I mean, Milky Way is trying to get out. I don't think he's going to be lucky. Lockdown targets him first just to make sure they get the full wipe. Good. Sustains through that. Healing Lockdown. Does he have barrel roll? Is he going to fly for it?
17 kills and level 17.
17 kills to 1. That 1 kill on the Lockdown is going to plague them forever, man. They also lost mid-fort, so not going to be a perfect game, but as close to it as you can get, you would say. Look, I know I don't want to go back to this, but, like, we're going to watch it in the highlight reels at the end of the day. Like
the very first camp?
The 2-minute, let's invade this camp that we have no business invading and our whole team dies moment was when this game was won for Tempest, and now they've just simply done everything perfectly. The Ancestral on Dami that they timed basically perfectly there was the most difficult and, like, closest, scariest moment for them in the entire series. And then once that was done, man, it's just been smooth sailing. GLuck gonna have to defend a talent tier with a talent tier disadvantage against boss with no keep to speak of. Last 5 temple shots coming through here. Falstad joins. Milky Way trying to be sneaky, looking for that flank, looking for the big CCs here, but knows how Tempest is already split. Sign smells him a mile away again. Sniffs him out, finds him. He's isolated here now because of the gust. And this is going to be the last team fight of the game. Divine Shield, well used here, but there's just not enough damage.
The healing comes in. Genji's looking for the kill. Gets Sonya, gets 2. Maybe even more. Relic does not have Dragon Blade anymore. He's going to go down. And they looked for revenge, but they got killed even more. And the boss is already on the court. Seems like this is game, Wolf.
Yeah, Overlord's trying his best here to get some damage done, but the boss is on the core. They got 3 kills in total. Relic finally got his revenge on Lockdown for those solo kills in the solo lane, but this is going to be game over. GG. Tempest will take game number 1 with a 22 kills to 3 final score.
And Cyan smiles right next to the core as the team is having all the fun. Seems like one of the easiest games for Tempest, as they really had the snowball going, and this is one of the snowballest map ever in Heroes of the Storm. And when you have that full level lead, even more in 2 minute 30, I mean, you just have to play safe and not risk anything.
Yeah.
And I think just having Falstad as to disengage when Milky Way came in with the cocoon, even Entomb was not enough because there was that big gust to disengage all the time.
Yeah, Lockdown's gust is kind of just like, it can be an initiation tool, but most of the time it's just a, we're going to play perfectly, we want to take every team fight perfectly, and if something is even slightly uncomfortable, if the positioning is a little bit off, I'm just going to gust it, because there's no reason to risk fighting unless we're fighting on our terms every time. And that's his playstyle, that's the kind of Falstad he is. Calm and collected, like everyone will remember when, like, I hope that's in our highlight reel later too, when Relic tries to kill him and he literally doesn't even click move command once, he just sits there and autos him, waits until it's, and then the only thing he had to do was change targets when Deflect came up, shot the minion next to him instead, and when Deflect was off, just pressed W and then clicked on him and it was over. Just calm, collected Falstad, didn't use the Stormlord skin, but it was impressive to see.
For a second, right, I'm guessing Relic may have thought he can outplay Falstad in that way, but Lockdown's skilled, experience, not going to let that happen. We just saw lots of individual, just overwhelming coming out from Tempest game 1. May continue in game 2 and 3. I think Falstad really, after seeing Falstad maybe not bringing up that Leoric in the draft, because they knew even with that Entomb, the damage was not going in every single time there was that Mighty Gust, unless they forced that out somehow by picking Zero to try to pick on Falstad or something. That did not happen, of course, in game number 1, and that's just how it went.
Yeah. So let's just try to put that game behind us a little bit. Let's move into game number 2, thinking about a map that's probably has a little bit more comeback mechanics, 6.5 out of 10. Maybe thinking about a draft that basically pulls away from Tempest strings because they got the Holy Trinity, the Rhaegar, Sonya, Falstad. So maybe drafting in such a way that prevents that from occurring, as well as just kind of trying to reset, play a standard game, maybe play a little bit more passively in the early game, not try to make outplays. Like Relic trying to kill Falstad in lane as if I like saw Michael Jordan like shooting some hoops and I was like, yo, what's up, and try to take the ball from him. Like he'd be like, no, like why are you even trying this? Like he'd be like, Wolf, you can't even like shoot a 2-pointer. Like if you had like 10 tries to do it,
or even a 1-pointer,
like,
and it doesn't exist.
I'm like, I can shoot a 1-pointer. He's like, that's not even a thing. Like I'm not trying to say that Lockdown's Michael Jordan and the Relic is me, but like, you know, when you're trying to make these flashy mechanical plays, like even if KSP Black tried to do that invade on the Siege Giants, I would say this is a bit unwise, right?
Unless they had the entire team outnumber
yeah.
or something even before. They didn't even, and the top laner, who was the one playing Leoric, Saron, he should have called that. Sonya was going ahead.
Sonya's there first. You guys should leave. You guys should leave. You guys should leave. You should go to the others.
So I think those are the biggest problems for GLuck right now against the strong teams. They're making almost near perfect calls on split second every single time when they have to delay. When GLuck also has to think in their head, what do we do now? And then those 1-2 second delay can change everything.
Well, let's play the Mac pick of